Ladies and gentlemen, has this ever happened to you?
Signed bottle ever.
Oh, don't let this happen to you.
I have seen so many posts about people who, and witnessed it firsthand, about people who've had that happen.
Oh yeah.
And it's like
It's not the first time I've done it.
They'll lose like the entire non-black, the entire...
I know. It's not a pretty sight. Happens to everybody. But that's why you have Mama Lynn on your side. Now, we absolutely love our paints from GW and P3. But for those, everybody has a preference. Some people like coming, painting straight from the pot, and that's fine. But what if I told you that there is a way that you can actually make your paint last a lot longer and possibly work even better for you by way of transferring them all to a dropper bottle? Dun, dun, dun. Now, some of you might already do this and everything, but there are some of you, there's some people out there that don't even know how to do this, or that this kind of thing exists, and so that is why we are here to help. So, here's the deal. Now, I have a lot of paints in these bigger dropper bottles for two reasons. One, because I'm notorious for having more than one bottle of certain paints, and two, Brandon is a very big guy. Those of you who met him know what I'm talking about, and he has larger fingers, so it's actually a little tougher for him to hold a smaller bottle and actually squeeze a proper bottle of paint than to do the larger one. Just food for thought, something to think about. Now, you can get dropper bottles from different places. There are plastic companies that sell the plastic dropper bottles in bulk. Reaper Miniatures also sells dropper bottles in like sets of 3. You can get them from their website unless you already live in Texas like I do, and you can get them. And you can get them from Amazon also. So there, and there are other stuff that you can use. Oh, for example, also Iron Wind Metals. Like if you really aren't into the whole dropper bottle thing, but you want something with a top that's a little more secure, Iron Wind Metals has, these are mixing pots. So like that's for if you mix different colors and you want to save it, you would put it in one of these. But, there are some cases where you just want something a little more secure, or that you can travel better with and not have to worry about the top coming off. And so that's where something like these would come into play. You get these from Iron Wind Metals. Again, they're a set of 6. But I don't honestly remember exactly how much they are, but they're not expensive. It's like a few bucks. So, let's show you how this is done. Okay, so here we are. We got some supplies here. Now, what I have here, this is made out of hydrophobic material, or also known to some as HPB, and I just have this so that I have something underneath while I pour the paint into the dropper bottle, just so that you can see better what I'm doing. So, to start, here's what I have in here. There's a set of you can get a set of these bottles at Hobby Lobby. It's only a couple of bucks, and it has a dropper bottle so you can do a proper drop. Now, if you don't have that, not a big deal. You can just use one of your extra dropper bottles and, have your water or what have you in here instead. Now, what we tend to have in our bottles here is we tend to have a mix of a half amount of Liquitex Flow Aid and distilled water. You can get distilled water by the gallon at any Walmart, any supermarket, and it's like 80 or 90 cents a gallon, so it'll last you for like ever. Great to use for when you do your airbrushing as well. So, now, like I told you before, I am notorious for having more than one bottle of paint and just being like, where the hell did I end up with like 2 or 3 bottles of the same thing? So, for example, I have here Typhus Corrosion. It's a GW Technical. I thought that I had some empty dropper bottles, but I was wrong. But what's going to probably happen is after I record this, suddenly my extra dropper bottles will come out of nowhere and be like, hi, now that you don't need me, I'm here. So, dropper bottles, taking them apart. Now, when you purchase them new, they'll already come apart, and then you just have to put them back together. But for the sake of what I'm doing right now, if you have a sink, you can do this over the sink as well. Shake first. Open up your bottle here. Alright, so you see that there's some extra here, which we will, like at the top and such, and we'll address that in a second. And what you're going to do is you're going to carefully pour into the bottle. If you have an old paint that you haven't used in like forever, like old GW paint or something like that, then what you would do, where the water and like flow aid and flow improvers come into play, is to loosen up the paint. So it works for both when you have old paint And also when you are just trying to get the rest out of the paint pot. So what I'm doing is I'm putting a few drops here. Well, I put more than a few, but that's okay. It's just a technical. It's used more like a washer anyway. And so I'm going to shake, and what I'm doing is I'm using the water and flow improver to loosen up whatever is around the walls of the bottle or on the sides, so that I can get as much out of this as I can. Because, you know, obviously we like saving money. We don't like wasting money. And because this is a pot, you kind of want to tap the top to take some of the excess off the top. Or you can flick it. That's okay too. Because I have something underneath, so it's not like it's going to be a big deal. And you continue pouring. So I got pretty much as I can get out of here. I could sit here and go through again with a little more flow improver and try and get out the rest, but I mean, that's up to you. You don't have to do that. And then when you're done, you put the nipple part of the bottle back on. It snaps. That's how you know it's secure. And which one is this one? This is the right one. Okay. And then you turn it back on. Now, again, you can get the smaller bottle too. Like, look, how old is this GW color, Snot Green? When was the last time that you saw Snot Green from GW? Years and years ago, right? Well, I transferred it to a dropper bottle, adding flow improver and stuff, and look. It still works. It's still got a nice drop. So you can make the paints from the paint pot, you can make them last a lot longer too. So you're stretching it by making them last longer, and they can work better for you. See? When was the last time you saw Snot Green? Still works. Perfect example. GW Blood Red, that's another one. That was another one that you haven't seen since like the 10th Plague, and it's still good. I have all my GW washes and shades in the dropper bottles and everything. So yeah, so that's my story, and I am sticking to it, my friends. So be sure to like, comment, and share. Follow us. We're redesigning the site, metalheadminis.com. So be sure to check that out. Be sure to check back. It should be done relatively soon. And yeah, so thank you so much for following us. Thank you for watching, and have yourselves a great day.